Amen. Hey, welcome back to Calling All. Yeah, there he is right there. Jim Myers, welcome back to Calling All Beings. It's been a minute or two. I'm your host, DJ, and sitting to my left shoulder is my illustrious co-host and work and fitness coach as well.
Depending on the day.
And what's your name? That's right. And below us is the owner, operator, researcher, speaker at conferences. And actually, he's going to be having one of his own this summer. None other than Mr. Jim Myers. Welcome back to Calling All Beings, hey, Mr. Myers.
Glad to be back. Thank you.
It's always good to have you back. You've co-hosted with us, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 times now. Been on roundtables. And every time I talk Sasquatch with you, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So, and I'm really glad that you could join us because I wanted you here to help us welcome this gentleman here. And I became aware of this gentleman when I lived in Northwest Florida in the Destin area. And I saw a video that was shot in the woods that was a thermal of a Sasquatch with this gentleman and his father. And I think the two things that drew me to him initially were the closeness between he and his dad, which is probably the first messages I ever sent him were regarding he and his father, Stacy Sr. And then the fact that obviously they had a prolific Bigfoot encounter and then his exploits after that. And I actually got to shake hands with him at the, I think it's called the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference or something like that. It's in Ocala every year. It's one of the best out there. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but the Ocala Bigfoot Conference is awesome. And now I'm out here in Colorado with Jim. So
yeah, not that we see each other a lot, but
well, you know what? You just told me to ride up there on my bike, so that's going to give me a reason to ride up there and see you.
It's a great ride between you and me. It's a great ride.
Yeah, I'll make that happen. And hopefully we're going to get out in the woods at some point. Sure. I know that you do have a business that does this. But anyway, let's get to our special guest, this gentleman. It is an honor to welcome him in. He is a filmmaker. He is a researcher. He has done paranormal and Bigfoot research. And he's just all in all, just a really witty, cool guy. So all of you in the chat, hello, everybody. We love you. But now we got to get down to business. So party people, put those hands together for Stacy Brown Jr. Somebody give me an amen for Stacy Brown Jr.
That's the cab welcome.
That's how it goes.
It's a
go big and go home.
Unique welcome, yeah.
That is the wildest, I guess, segue to me coming on a show that I've ever experienced. So,
mission accomplished.
Good job. Good job.
Got that crowd next to you cheering. I mean,
you're right. You got a studio audience right there. That's cool.
Right there.
Slay, homeboy, slay.
That's how it goes, man. Oh, wait, not that one. It's this one for Stacy. There we go.
Oh,
sir. Yeah.
Let us talk a Bigfoot.
Yeah, when I met you in Ocala and we shook hands, and you're probably like, "Who's this weirdo with the sunglasses?" You probably didn't anticipate you were going to get this kind of welcome when you eventually came on. But it is an honor to have you. And I'm going to start off with what I think is a really easy and obvious question, and that I've been wondering about, and that is, how did you go from simply Stacy Brown Jr. to Stacy Brown Jr., filmmaker, researcher, all these sorts, paranormal and Bigfoot? Can you please tell me how that metamorphosis occurred?
Yeah. So I used to do, I had another life before all this, right? I was a musician, I was a wrestler, and I kind of ended up, having my Bigfoot encounter. So it got me into that, but I had been into filmmaking since I was like longer than I can remember. I was into Bigfoot. And my filmmaking started out, just kind of like comedy stuff me and my friends were doing, just kind of like stupid stuff, jackass type shit. And then we, I started Bigfooting, and so I had cameras and stuff so I could record and I could edit, and I started putting that stuff up. And then I guess about 2017, I wrote a film based off of the spot that I researched at. And I'm glad it never came out because it was terrible. But we shot a lot of it, or we shot all of it. And I was like halfway through the edit before like my producer stole my script and went and sold it to a production company.
No way.
Yeah. So then I guess they never made the film neither. But that was it, man. There was there in Tallahassee, there was a Kia car commercial contest, and it was like $5,000 grand prize, and I won it. And they played the commercial that I made for Kia. I did have a Bigfoot in that,
Bigfoot.
Yeah, and then I made a Roswell documentary. And it started getting into, like making Bigfoot documentaries because the two kind of they cross at points when I make a Bigfoot film, but I really don't want to make those. Mm-hmm. I do want to make them, but like I'm shooting this feature film for Tate's Hell, and I really want to make that. That's like a story. You know what I mean? A documentary is a documentary. There's a million of them, but there'll only be one of your story. Mm-hmm. Right? Because if we do a Bigfoot documentary, chances are I'm going to cover something somebody else has already covered.
Yes.
So I either now have to do it in a new flashy way, so people won't feel like they're hearing the same stuff again. That's kind of the problem with that, But with a horror film, bro, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you always have an audience there that love to watch movies.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Jules was asking where in Florida you're from, and I don't remember the name of your town for the life of me.
I'm in Wakulla County, Florida. So it's right below Tallahassee. So we're the next county down, below Tallahassee, right on the coast. I'm about 10 minutes from the river, about 5 minutes from the ocean. Pretty cool little place. Maybe 10 minutes from the ocean.
That's great.
I don't know, but yeah, or the Gulf of America. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I like to say that every chance I can get to in real life. If I can get a chance to say Gulf of America, it pisses so many people off. I just love it.
Did first of all, I didn't know you were a musician. So just before I ask my next question, what instrument did you play?
I play everything, baby.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like Prince. Okay.
Yeah, kind of. I'm more of a songwriter, right? So, my band was like a Alice in Chains, Nirvana style band, more kind of Alice in Chains. And then, I would just surround people or surround myself with people that were better than me. So like my guitar player would obviously be a killer guitar player, my bass player, same thing. But I can play everything enough to record the album.
Yeah, like Tom Scholes of Boston. He played all the
I'm not that good. I'm not that good, but
and what did this endeavor in towards filmmaking, did that fill the kind of creative hole that you were missing when you quit playing professionally in music? Or
yeah, in a way, right? So it's always got to be something. I've always got to be doing something. I have been working all day today around my house. Just got done cooking dinner. And then I'm going to set my lights up after this podcast, and I got a chicken coop I'm building. So I'm going to try to go till like 1 and I'll sleep. I'll get up tomorrow until I'm done with that project. And I got a script I'm working on. So always something, right?
You're very talented.
You know, because if I don't stay busy, I tend to get depressed.
Yeah. You're like a shark. It's got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Let me pass it to Jim Myers and then my lovely co-host.
So what are the films you mentioned? What are the films you've made related to Bigfoot?
So my first documentary, The Skunk Ape Lives, was kind of, it blew up. Like right when it came out, I didn't expect it. I hated the film. I sat on the film for like 3 or 4 years. And then I changed just a few minor tweaks, and I'm like, all right, we'll put it out. I wasn't a fan of it. Shit blew up, dude. Like, we made that film for like $2,500, I think. And just off of Amazon, I believe we made like 50 grand. Like, and then Les Stroud put it on his channel because so it got caught. It got caught right there in 2020. Amazon dumped a bunch of stuff, just randomly dumping deals. And because we didn't have a distributor, we didn't have protection against that. And so they took it off. So we put it on YouTube. And then on YouTube, it had like 2 million plays. It was doing really well on there. And then the film got caught up in a legal battle, which I did not feel like fighting. It was 60 grand to just go and fight for the rights of some movies. Like, me and my business partner had a breakup, and it was kind of like fight for some rights to some movies that are not worth what you're going to spend to acquire them. It's the film's load had already been blown, right? So it was already to where it was reached kind of the cap of its peak of views. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's interested.
For you to fight for that one.
No, not when I can turn around and remake the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's I'm going to make The Skunk Ape Lives on. And it's not going to be the same documentary. I know new stuff that I didn't know back then. I'll cover different subjects, but I'll still hit on kind of how the skunk ape came to be in Florida, you know, things like that.
Cool.
Awesome. Let's pass it on to Boston Bia, because I have a dozen questions right off the bat, but I got to share. So go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So have you had any Bigfoot experiences?
Yeah, sure have.
Right,
Well, how long we got?
Well, listen, rocks. The one with your dad.
Tell us about your first one.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, because some of them it's gotten weird, right? Like the new ones. When I started off in this, I thought we were kind of just after like a primate, and now I really don't know anymore. That still could be the case.
Welcome to the Bigfoot world.
Yeah. You know, but it's all based off of stuff that I've witnessed.
Yeah.
I don't do this power of suggestion. I know there's a big push right now for them to be Nephilim or something to that degree. I have no way of knowing that. You know what I'm saying? So like,
right.
Hey, maybe they are. Yeah. And because it could be, but hell, I'm not going to bring it up. You know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so me and my bass player had went camping, just kind of writing some new tunes for the album. Okay. We had went to a lady's house who was on Finding Bigfoot. She had a handprint inside her door. It was like the second episode. And I was playing music down at the Riverside cafe or whatever it's called. It's more like a bar though. But I was that guy, like while you were eating on a Sunday, and there's some guy up there with a guitar playing for about 4 or 5 hours, ripping through all these cover tunes. That was me, right? So I'm up there doing that, and she had called me back. I had put a message in, but never got didn't hear from her. Then she had called me back and told me, yeah, you can come out. You come out in November when the snakes have died down some, you know? And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, lady, okay, all right. I'm not going to argue with her. It's hotter than hell anyways. This was like July. So ended up going on a BFRO trip with my dad in September. I took him on his birthday. And we went to the Blue Ridge Mountains, you know. But then he got diagnosed with like bladder cancer. Okay. And so he had the surgery and everything. Everything was good, but he was having to heal up. Right. Which with my dad was kind of a more stubborn thing. I watched him. They had a damn catheter ran in him. Right. So they could run that camera down and look, and he got madder than hell when they wouldn't take it out one time. And he'd come home right there on the pool table and took the thing out himself. Now it's like a thing like that long, right? And it's got a ball on the end of it, and they had to depress that ball to remove it. And he didn't depress that ball. He just snatched that thing out. So took him a little bit longer to heal than maybe it would a normal person. Plus he had like autoimmune disease. So he had Crohn's disease. So it took him a while to get better. But anyways, November, he wasn't better. So we still went with my bass player. And as soon as we pulled down the road, I see Matt seen it too, but I don't know what he saw. I see legs step into the bushes, right? Whoop, whoop, just like that. And so I'm like, hey, did you see that? He's seen it too. He just seen this, I guess, kind of black object move in the woods.
But you didn't see the body, just the legs.
That's all I seen,
Okay.
right? But here we see that, and we're thinking it's like power of suggestion. You know, we're freaking ourselves out. But we stop there, and we hear whatever it is going down this ravine. There was like this huge ravine there, you know, and you think Florida's like flat, but it's not. In some places, it's quite hilly. And this is one of those places. So we're going up the house, meet the owner. The owner puts us on the back of her mule and takes us around the property. Okay. Now, it's like a Kawasaki mule. It's like an ATV. It's not an actual mule. I've had people get confused when I brought that up before. But yeah, we went down, and she basically gave us like safari. She's like, hey, guy, seen something here. Guy got growled at here, yada, yada, as they drive us through this labyrinth of trails on their 30 acres. They take us to one spot that's up. It's like there's this one big hill in their woods, okay? And there's a trail going up to it, and there was a loop at the top. So we're up there on the loop, and she shows us some stick structures. But they're nothing like huge. They're like knee high, but very intricate. Like, and immediately I'm thinking, okay, she could make these because she could park the mule there and just walk 5 yards into the woods and make them. You know what I mean? It wasn't out of the realm of possibility. We finish the tour up. She takes us where we're going to camp. And it's this place we call the Stabbing Cabin because it was this old deer blind, 2-story deer blind that this guy had like put all this, he had closed it in and put all this like stuff around on it. There's clothes in it and stuff. It looked straight like something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, you would see Leatherface run up out of this thing and chase you, right? And this is exactly where we're camping. So there's that part, right? Like that was spooky in itself. So we're getting our gear out of the mule. And she's like, all right, guys, y'all got our numbers. Call us if you need us. You're the first people to camp out here. I was like, what?
What?
Yeah, because the BFRO had been there for like 7 years already, but they had not stayed out there overnight.
Hmm.
And I get why now, because like Miss Bridges would put on a damn show. You know what I mean? There'd be dinner, there'd be drinks. It's hard to do Bigfooting when they just want to talk up at the house.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like there would be times when I went there that I wouldn't even go up there to talk to them. I just go straight to where I was camping, because you get caught into that. And then all the game's on, you know what I mean? So we go watch the game together and stuff like that. But
let me interrupt you just briefly. Why was that site unique or a place to go for Sasquatch?
Well, so what it turned out, what I ended up learning, I spent like 8 years there before Hurricane Michael came in. And there was this area called Flat Creek, or the creek that ran through the property was called Flat Creek. Now, the natives had lived all up and down it, right? But it went all the way to Torreya State Park, right where it connected to a creek that went to where me and my dad caught the footage. It was this whole huge kind of creek system that come from the river, you know. So what I assumed is that they were using it, because another weird thing was you wouldn't see no hogs, you wouldn't see no bear. I had the biggest issue with, like, what do they eat here? I couldn't figure it out, you know. But they definitely were coming through, right? And there was tons of deer there, but it was kind of like a quiet place that I guess they just felt safe, you know, and they could be entertained, because the landowners, they would always have people over and be entertaining people, you know. So from where they would come up on the creek, you could see the house up the hill, you know, and then you could slip up there around the house. But as to why exactly they were coming there, that blew my mind, because I just couldn't find. At the time, it bothered me because I couldn't find enough food source to support one of these things. Right. And, but at the end of it, that didn't bother me anymore, because I didn't think they were kind of held to what I was having to do, you know, because that's how I would Bigfoot when I went there. After I won the Bigfoot bounty show, I would go and I would stay like a week, 5 days, and I would move around that property, that waterway, until I found enough food to support myself, and then I would Bigfoot right there. You know what I'm saying? That's when I thought they were primates and needing that. But anywho, she tells us, you know, hey, nobody's camped out here. Y'all call us, you need us. We're camping, playing some music. We go on the trail, and we go back up that hill to where the stick structures were, and we sit down. And we're sitting there just hanging out, smoking cigarettes. And the hickory nuts had been falling. And I started noticing that they were falling uphill. We were kind of sitting on a nice little grade. It was like the edge of this ravine that went down to a creek and then come back up. So we noticed that, and you know, we're trying to talk ourselves out of it. Oh, it's just doing that, whatever. And I'm like, okay, let me get my thermal out the bag at least. I had one of these thermals that was like for electrical. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a little gun. It's got the screen, the flares. And so I'm scanning it across, and there's just this huge heat signature behind these little bitty trees. This little bitty clumping of trees could have never hid anything. So I didn't understand it. But at that distance, it didn't really have no shape to it, right? But you could see this good size, person size heat signature sitting behind this small clump of trees. And so that scared us. So we're like, all right, whatever. We're going back to camp. And we walked. And so from there on the trail was probably a mile, maybe a mile and a half, right? What we didn't know is that we were just 2 hills over where we were camping. Like, so where that thing was hiding, if he just went up over the hill and then over another one, he would be walking up to our camp. Right. So just right there. And so we got there at camp. We started hearing the stuff walking around, blah, blah, blah. It was freaking us out because it would walk and then stop and then walk. And now we're up on top of the hill, like I said, and it's probably a 75-foot, like a nice size drop down the hill, but you could walk up it, right? And a creek ran west to east, and it met with Flat Creek that ran north to south. And then we were kind of in the corner up on a hill. And it got to the point where I had the flashlight out, and I shined it right where I heard the stepping. And it was just a tree, right? And I'm like, I'm going to hold this light here. And I'm saying all this stuff. I'm like, I'm going to hold this light here till you come out. You got to come out, you know? And I promise you, like 10 minutes went by. And now I've done come down the hill a little bit and gotten brave, right? Come down the hill, shining it, and nothing happens. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm losing my mind, right? You're hearing stuff. I turn around, go back up the hill. The second I get to the top of the hill, because my flashlight won't shine all the way down there good. Second I get back up the top of the hill, walks to another tree. I was like, bro, whatever. So at this point, the guy I was with was a drinker. He really started drinking at this point.
Did he see it?
I don't know how he wouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, I believe he did. If he told me he didn't, I would kind of be shocked.
Looking the same direction.
No, we weren't looking the same direction. That's why I say maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe he didn't see it, but I know he saw it. We talked about it. So yeah, he saw it. He saw it for sure. But yeah, we're sitting there, and like I'm facing towards the fire this way. He's over here, and he's kind of facing the fire, but he's 6-7 yards from me. And we hear like a deep breathing, and then look up at the wood line just to the edge of the firelight, and that's where it's standing. And it feels like, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe, but it couldn't have been, you know. I mean, it seemed like forever. It was probably 3 or 4 seconds, but it just turns around and walks off. And then I tell Matt, I'm like, bro, we're sleeping in the same tent tonight. You can tell everybody at work whatever you want to.
But we're sleeping in the same tent.
I won't deny it. Like, you say whatever you got to say.
I hope it wasn't a backpacking tent.
This is why, this is why I invited Stacy on, because he's so entertaining in addition to being knowledgeable. He's very funny.
Well, so he goes and he gets in the tent, and he's like halfway in, halfway out, right? And I'm on the cooler, sitting on the cooler. I don't want to go to sleep, scared to death. It's his truck, right? Like, we're not about to peel out of here. You know, because also I've been getting teased by everybody that knew we were going, that this was we were gonna get scared and come home. Yeah. You know,
I'm not going home.
Whatever happens, we ain't going home.
All right. And so I end up falling asleep sitting up, like I nod like that and go to a knee, and that wakes me up, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go get in the tent with Matt. So go get in the tent with Matt. I don't know how long it was. I've lost time during all of this. Okay. Like, from the moment that happened to what happened right now, I have no idea. I want to say it's like 3 a.m, but I tried to stay up as long as I could. So maybe it's 5 a.m. Maybe it's 6. There's an issue there. Right. But I wake up to Matt screaming as loud as he can. And then when I open my eyes, that tent is like that close to my face. This is like one of them 2-man Walmart Ozark Trail tents, right? And then it tears off through the woods. It sounds like you drove a damn, drove a Ford Ranger just straight off into the woods. No trail, just drive it off, That's what it sounded like. So I'm sitting up. I'm back up now. I ain't going to sleep, sitting there holding my pistol. And Matt's like, hey, let's go get in the truck and lock the doors. And I said, no, bro. You go ahead. I'm going to sit right here because I didn't want to wake up and that thing is looking through the window at me. Like, had the tent not been there and that thing, like, I eventually ended up sleeping because I wanted to have this encounter, but I would just lay a tarp down and sleep with the bag on that, right? No tent, nothing. And because I wanted to wake up with them over the top of me or like waking me up. But at that moment, had that happened, had that tent not been there, and I woke up to a hand coming down to my face, bro, I'd have been dead right there. Y'all could have just zipped me up and thrown me in the creek. I was so scared, bro. We get up, or I get up. So let's go get some breakfast. We go to the Hardee's in there, and he looks at me, and it's kind of the first words we had spoke. He goes, well, they didn't get us. Do you want to stay another night? Right. Oh, and before then, right as I got up, I called my dad. I'm like, yo, stuff happened. Bigfoot's real, blah, blah, blah. We come into the house. And he's like, hold on. You mean to tell me that people have been looking for Bigfoot for like 60 years and you were within feet of one and now you're about to come home? He's like, you come on to the house, I'm gonna punch you right in the face for wasting your time and blah blah blah. I'm like, all right. So then Matt's like, you want to stay another night? We're like, sure, we'll stay another night. We walk them woods all day long, brother. We find the area where it ran down. It looked like it looked like somebody drove a 4-wheeler through it without the tire tracks, And we get down there, don't find anything. Nothing happens during the day. Find a couple tree breaks, I guess, but that's not anything, right? Then it gets dark again, right? And we ain't told the property owners what's going on because are they messing with us is still a thought. As unlikely as it is, that's still a thought.
Was who messing with you?
The landowners.
Okay.
Or they scaring us,
Sure.
It's unlikely, but that's a skeptic trying to rationalize what's going on.
You got to rule that out, kind of.
Yeah, you do. If you're not that far away from either some sort of infrastructure or houses where people could be messing with you. But while we have a real quick second, say Flat Rock's here. So everybody wave hello to Flat Rock.
What up, Flat Rock?
I got to meet him. Stacy stayed on his property, and he's got some good experiences there. Flat Rock's property in Alabama is crazy from what I hear. I got to go out in the woods with him in Blackwater. We went out in the woods. But hi, Flat Rock. How are you, brother? Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress. Stacy, we're so you
thought it was the people messing with you, maybe?
Well, I mean, we just didn't want to tell them just in case they had a really, really good suit.
Yeah.
And like, here's another thing is like these people were kind of big and old and coming up and down them hills. That's why I said as unlikely as it seemed, we didn't want to let them know in case they were, right?
You don't want to give them the pleasure.
No, I don't.
Got me, man.
But second night, as soon as it gets dark, starts happening again. All of it starts happening again. The walking. This time there's like grunts and like popping of trees and stuff. And I, at one point, am standing there facing the woods screaming, please leave us alone. Please leave us alone, right? And so around midnight, remember I told you that creek run east to west and then met up with Flat Creek that run north to south. he was right there in that corner, and he screamed as loud as he could. And I'm talking about the Bigfoot. It freaked us out. Like you could, it wasn't so much like a body thing, you know, it was just like, oh, I just kind of felt like, oh no, oh no, oh no. You know what I mean? And then it went quiet for maybe 30 seconds, because then that's when another one replied to him from further away.
Look at Bia.
Okay. Yeah. And this was like the worst part of it, because at that moment I'm like, we've came to the zoo and decided to camp down here. And now he just called Larry and the boys, and they're about to come up on in here, and there's going to be 4 or 5 of these damn things on us. You know what I mean?
In the lion cage.
Well,
right.
Jim, I'm thinking this is when Stacy should have brought out the guitar. The bass player should have got the bass out, maybe a little bit of bluegrass, and we're good to go.
With hindsight, sure. But that's the time.
Well, we're going to get to that. Stacy, have you played music for the... Have you as a
we were playing? Yeah, okay. We were playing music then.
Okay,
when my dad got the footage, I think we were playing. It was White Zombie. I think I had some White Zombie on. It may have been Muse. It was something like that. You know, we were grilling. Had a little, because back then, 2012, they didn't really have these Bluetooth speakers, right? At least I didn't. I didn't even have a damn iPhone. But I would take a little portable stereo I had that would take batteries and then play the CDs, you know, sit it down. So, but always having some type of something to draw them in: food, music, laughter, a good time.
Because Stacy, do you know, have you heard in Georgia, the guy, Alex Midnight Walker? I think he was right around the time he used to go out and with his guitar and with his acoustic and go out and play. And he said that drew them in. So I figured you would, I was just curious, had you tried to bring your instruments out and play?
Yeah. You know, I went out there and performed whole concerts to just the woods. Yeah. Well, just with myself singing, and I'd play like a whole 20, 30 songs.
That's awesome, man. Look at that.
You know?
These Bigfoots, people paid to watch Stacy, and these Bigfoots didn't pay a damn thing. And they got a concert.
But yeah, now I usually just take a singing bowl. I'll play that. Yeah. Okay. Do that now. So
and don't let me forget before we break tonight, Stacy, don't let me forget about Terea, because I want to get about your paranormal investigation there. But we can continue on the Bigfoot vein, but I don't want to forget your paranormal stuff, because it seems like you and Connor Flynn aren't scared of anything. You guys go anywhere.
Yeah, and I've hung out with Connor quite a few times.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think you're right, Stacy, that they enjoy coming to places where people are having a good time. And when we're out camping, I take people out camping, we're laughing, we're carrying on. I just tell them, just be yourself, just have fun.
Yeah. And
they'll come in to check it out, because we're the only show in town. So they're going to come check it out.
If they're in the area, so like when we go to Goose Pasture, we'll pull up to a spot, get out the vehicles, hang out a little bit, and then if there's nothing going on, we'll ride to the next spot. Yeah. I don't go out there and knock. I don't go out there and yell, because if they're there, they're going to knock to each other. Right. They're never knocking to us.
No.
So
I've had them knock back, that it sure seemed like they were knocking back at me. But
they may have been, but I don't think they ever.
I think it's mainly between them.
Yeah. I don't think they ever direct it towards us, but because the second we will always knock, they may reply one more time, but that's usually wraps it up right there. But if we'll let it go on, they'll knock back and forth for quite a bit. And that's how we do it now. We just try to get into a remote spot in the woods and become the entertainment.
Yeah.
And if they're there, if they're not there, if we don't hear nothing in an hour, pull up camp, drive to the next place, try again. And we'll do that all night long until the sun comes up.
That makes sense.
You ever have nights where none of them interact with you?
Oh, most nights.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a lot of sitting. It's a lot of hoping and trying different things. Yeah, we can't control them. They don't perform on command by any stretch.
Yeah, you know, and the other thing about it is I only go with my friends, right? So it's cool because we can forget about what we're doing and get into conversation about life. How's your mama doing? Let me tell you about what my cousin did, shit like that, you know, as opposed to sitting out there and just being quiet and listening for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like, no, we'll sit out there and be talking crap at each other, just cutting up, you know, and we end up stepping on stuff because of this.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that if you missed things because you're making so much noise.
We do. We always have the audio rolling, you know, but audio is not really the goal in that situation. We want them to come close.
Well, I mean, Tom Cantrell's been studying this since, I mean, his first encounter was in 1958. And that's what he said to do. He said, go make a camp. The late Tom Cantrell, God rest his soul. He'd say, sit around the campfire, act normal, just do normal stuff. And they're going to get intrigued and they're going to come close.
Yeah.
I don't see how that could be a bad plan. Rose is asking here. Let me get to Rose's question real quick. And thank you very much. Let me acknowledge some new members. Thank you very much. Old Gray Mare. Thank you. I would love to have an old gray mare myself. Scooter, Nicole, Donnie Not Wahlberg. Thank you, ma'am. She's from Washington State. So she's in Bigfoot country all the way. And of course, Ruthie Robles. So thank you. This question right here from Rose. I know Jim's answer to this, and we tend to agree with him. But Stacy, what is your take on the paranormality of these humanoid type creatures?
So there's reasons that they're not in a zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
100%.
What that reason is, I don't know. I've experienced orbs. When me and my father got the footage, those were brand new batteries in that camera. They went dead within 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, as soon as that Sasquatch run from that tree to tree, that thing went dead. And then to get back to the truck and work. You know, we never talk about that part because it seems unbelievable. Right? And there's something to that. Yeah. And so when I dove into the paranormal, okay, so what are we doing in the woods when we're trying to communicate with a Bigfoot? We're knocking on a tree, hoping to get a return. We do the same damn thing in the house when we trying to communicate with a ghost or rap on the table. Knock, knock, and then we'll wait for a return knock. The batteries are going dead both times. Like electronics are just messing up when there's activity. There's orbs, lights involved with both of them.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. You'll also have a terrible smell when there's, when it's demonic. When you're having a demonic encounter, a lot of times you'll have this terrible sulfuric smell. And the skunk apes kind of described the same exact way. There's a lot of parallels there. And then if you add the UFO stuff into it, it kind of even more stuff. Like with the UFO encounters, everything went silent. Eerily silent. Bigfoot counter. Everything went silent. Eerily silent. You know, so
birds stopped, the bugs stopped.
Everything. And at the end of the day, I don't know. If I had to bet right now, I would bet that in 100 years, whatever they are isn't such a big deal then. Right now, it's a big deal because we're not far enough along into technology and all that stuff. Or our understanding of our own reality. But I think in 100 years, it won't be that big a deal, maybe cloaking, something to that degree, you know. But if I had to guess, I think this is all one big phenomena, and it comes to everybody differently, whether it be ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, whatever. I think it's all kind of the same thing. I could be wrong, and it could be a primate, and that's fine. based on my own experiences, this is what I've come to so far.
Have you, I'm curious, with all the time you spend out of the night, have you seen their eyes glowing?
No.
Really?
I've seen an eye shine, but I've never seen an eye glow. Now, I got buddies who I believe 100% there were multiple people there that reported the eye glow.
Yeah, we've seen it, but I had to figure out what I was looking for first, because I went years without seeing it till I figured out what I was looking for, and then I started seeing it.
I think Flat Rock has as well, right? I think Flat Rock has seen eye glow on his property. And the thing is they're big. It's wider apart than what you expect because you're looking for a human distance, and it's not. And the eyeball is bigger than our eyeball, so there's.
But you're usually, in our case anyway, they're far enough back that we're going to see one light because they kind of meld together.
Mm-hmm.
And so only that's why I tell folks that I take out, bring a pair of regular binoculars. And if we can pinpoint where that light is in the woods and zoom in with the binoculars, you'll see it separate out into two eyes. But we've seen it so bright, I thought it was, on one occasion, I thought it was somebody's porch light. And the guy's property I was on, he goes, yeah, that's Don's porch light. And I said, what are you talking about? I thought Don lived over here. So he'd gotten kind of confused. He goes, oh, yeah, Don's over there. I don't know what that is. And when we zoomed in, I got a video of this guy. I don't know if it's a male or a female. I'm not even sure it's a Sasquatch, but somebody high up, 10 feet up in the middle of a horse pasture was looking at us, glowing bright. They'd look away. They'd look back, and you could see the pupil in the eyes. They'd look away. Like 5 minutes, I recorded this. And they never moved towards us. We never moved towards them. But there were two of them that was probably maybe 50, 60 yards away. But bright light. And I'm like, how in the hell did they do that? I cannot figure that out.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the paranormal question when Stacy says, I don't know, but I suppose. Every single one of us is in that same camp.
Sure.
Nobody knows. We're all looking at the evidence that either we have heard from someone else, or that in the case of you two, that you guys have experienced out in the woods, and then making your best guess based on all of those things, anecdotal evidence plus your visual evidence and observations. But nobody knows. So, it's your guess is as good as anybody, Stacy, that's out there, any research.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's with everything. So like I told you, I got to where I'm at based on my own experiences. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing I had to go on.
Sure.
Right. Like y'all weren't there when me and my dad filmed it. So you can never be 100% sure that it's legit. None of us were there with Roger and Bob.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And these stories that everybody shares, we're not there. You have to go out and have your own learning experience with these creatures to know how to interact, because there is no manual. We haven't got one to where we can watch and figure it out. So we are definitely all sitting in the same spot. Somebody may have some better spots. It's something, something weird's going on. They're experiencing this. Hey, I know I heard one guy called into my show, and he said that he pulls up to a spot in the woods, and they come up to the truck and they listen to old CCR and stuff, and the Bigfoots hang out with him. Do I believe that? I guess there's weirder stuff could happen, right? Like I'm not there. I can't solely tell you. I can't
judge their story because it's their story.
Right. It may be true. It also may not be. So we can only be passionate, really, about the things that we've experienced.
I agree 100%.
There is one other aspect, though, and I'm going to get to Ruthie's question. Ruthie, real quick, since you're in New York, there is the Squatch Father, Al Santoriga. I know both of Stacy and Jim have probably heard of the Squatch Father. He's actually at a Bronxville Bigfoot. And he goes up to, he's even closer to Westchester County than the Catskills. I think he's up near like Pine Bush, I think, and he has a spot. But yes, I heard a narrative of a German. He was a German exchange student that came to the Catskills. He had an experience, and because he had a below ground room in the house, and when that thing put his face up, he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going back to Germany. So yes, the Adirondacks. There are many, many. Whitehall in New York. I know you guys have both heard of Whitehall. The Catskills. You hear less, but I also know of an ultra runner that had an experience in the Catskills, and he quit ultra running on those trails alone. So yes, Stacy, I did want to ask you a little bit about your paranormal investigations and sort of what got you into that, and sort of just tell us a little bit what was your source of intrigue regarding paranormal investigations.
Well, I really never had any kind of intrigue into it, right? And a friend of mine, me and Bill Brock, we went up to make this. We were pitching a TV show series, and we were shooting this thing. We went through the Bridgewater Triangle. You know, I was more there for the cryptids and stuff. But we had kind of some wild things happen on the paranormal side. And the guy that we were with, Corey Heinzen, he ended up like 3 months later buying the Conjuring house. Like, he called us before he bought it, and then they bought it, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So, you know, we went up there and hung out.
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
Stacy Brown Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, go ahead.
But we go up there, and, you know, you see and you hear stuff. And then I got like scratched by something at this place called Penhurst. Because we ended up doing this like live stream. It was during the height of COVID. We did this live stream like route, you know, 7 days or 7 locations in 6 days. And we started out in Western New York, went all the way to Ohio, and ended back up in Maine. So went to all these spots, had some really wild stuff happen. I tell you, the place that I went to this place in New York, and we did this like Aleister Crowley stuff because, you know, like also at the time, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just hearing, hey, this will work if you try this. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just a dog chasing a tire at this point. I'm just doing stuff. I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. Just trying to have an experience. I get this really negative feeling while I'm at this place. I hear Bill.
Alone?
What's that?
Were you alone?
No. I was with this guy, Bill Brock, and I hear him say something, like really rude. Okay, and the cameras are rolling, and it's almost like he's talking to a bitch or something like that, right? So like disrespectful, and I got angry, bro. Like I got so angry I wanted to kill this man. And I set my camera down and left. I went sitting upstairs. He comes up. He's like, what's going on, man? I'm like, why are you talking to me like that on air? I'm ready to fight. And he's like, I did not say any of that. I'm like, I swear I heard this man say this stuff. We rewind the footage and he ain't said that stuff.
Said
it. And brother, like, I when I get that mad, I will fight, right? So
but it was his voice you thought you heard?
I sat there and watched him say it.
Oh, you wow.
But it's not there.
But it's not there. I don't know how to deal with this, right? So I'm freaking out about this, and I'm trying to go to sleep. We're sleeping in that place, and something is walking up and down the steps all night, just walking up and down the steps. I don't sleep a bit. I go to leave out of that place, and when I get out of the house and to the street, I like have this emotional breakdown.
Wow.
Like it just feels like a weight has been pulled off my body. And I did not go back in that house to help him tear down most of this stuff.
You're like,
I said, I'm done, dude. And But all that came from me doing this, because we have it on tape too. We have this part on tape. We're doing the spirit box session, and this little girl's voice basically tells us we didn't close the portal. The portal that I tried to open in Point Pleasant, we didn't close it. Like, it was weird when we were in Point Pleasant, and all this is on video. As I'm reciting this hymn to Pan, the spirit box, the spirit box in the center, the REM pods over here, the EMF meters, they're all pulsing. They're all going off at once. Whoa, whoa, like going. This weird ass thing, right? And so I'm hooked on the paranormal after that. But the main kind of reason I got into the paranormal is because my father passed away, and I wanted to talk to my father. We had this number that we would get to each other if one of us passed away before the other one, to let them know they were all right. That number ended up coming up.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it was kind of out of it then. I figured it out to myself. And then I was on the Confessionals podcast, and I was flying home from Knoxville, and the plane number was DL and then that number.
Wow.
Right. It may be just coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence, but if you want to take it as coincidence, that's fine. To me, it meant more than that. That number will pop up every now and then. Right. It just out of the blue. There it is. So, yeah, that kind of was it for me. I just gave a ghost hunt the other night at a conference I was speaking at. They wanted to do a ghost tour because it was in an old historic courthouse. And so they sold tickets to that, and we did that. But yeah, there's things there. And so, like, when I'm Bigfooting, I got all my paranormal gear with me. I don't know what I'm gonna run into. The woods are haunted too, everybody. If y'all ain't figured it out, you ain't got to be in a house. You can be around the lake. The lake could be haunted.
Do you ever feel, Stacy, that Bigfoot may be communicating with you through those tools?
Well, here's my thing. I've had one experience, and I won't call it a telepathic experience, but I was at that place I first was at, and I was going up the hill, walking the trails. I knew the trails so well I could walk them in the dark, and I would. And so when I would show up to the property, I'd walk the trails, just talk. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all come on out. And blah, blah, blah. Just kind of letting them know I'm here. Come on out. I'm walking the trails, and I hear this. It sounded like it was crying, like something was bad. And I got this feeling that come over me that was, get out, go away right now. Go away, get out.
Did you?
Hell yeah, I did. But I took it as a gut feeling, right? You know how you know it. You shake some man's hand, you get this feeling about him. You're like, oh yeah, this dude, don't trust this guy.
That's why I'm surprised you still came on the show after we shook hands. So I'm just kidding.
But that's what I attribute that feeling to. Could it have been telepathic? Maybe. I didn't hear a voice.
Right.
I always hear my own voice. You know what I'm saying? So, like, every voice I ever heard is basically my own voice. But I went back to that cabin. I sat my little white lily ass on the damn cabin steps, right? And until I got tired, and I went in the cabin and laid down. And then I heard what I thought was rocks, I thought was rain and hitting the metal roof, but it was rocks. And so I was sitting up in bed, and then I hear a footstep on that porch, another footstep, and it stops right in front of the door, and the door just starts going, boom. Brother, my gun is on the other side of whatever that is in my car. I'm sitting there with a little dive knife, and I pull that dive knife, and I'm standing there like, I don't know how I did not like soil myself. And I'm being serious about that. I don't know how I didn't do that, because I was so scared. But then I never heard it leave the porch. Just stopped. I told my dad about it the next day, and my dad's like, brother, I think they want you to come out and chase them, because we would run after these things. And I think it almost ended up becoming a game to them to kind of get us.
People would hear that story, and many people would say, well, man, they're so aggressive. They were trying to scare you. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Because that's how I took it, though.
Yeah. No, sure, that's how we interpret it. But maybe that's not what they're trying to communicate.
Right. And my dad not being there, he brought that up, because to me, he was like, Stacy, the only thing holding that damn door is a chain lock.
Right.
And every time it was hitting, it was stretching that chain. Whack, 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 whack. You would hear the chain pull tight. Pop, pop, pop,
Wow.
If he wanted in there, he'd have been.
If he wanted in there, he'd have got me.
Yeah.
Because I'll be serious with you, I think I could have snatched that thing off had I tried hard enough. Surely somebody like Kevin Nash or the Big Show comes in there, they could pull that damn lock right out. Somebody with some real strength. But yeah, and it didn't dawn on me. And then I got thinking about it, and I'm like, because there's another thing is like, I would put coins on the air conditioning, and then I would come back. I put like 7 or 8 coins, right? I'd always write the year and the type of coin down. And I'd come back before I left that weekend, and there'd be some gone. Like maybe 1's left over here and 3 are left over here. And the 2 in between, or the 3 in between, are gone. That went on. It was hard to pick a pattern up. And then one of the last times I ever went out there before everything happened, the original coins
came back. I love it. Oh God, I love it.
Now, where the hell are they keeping these coins?
I know it.
I just want to tell you real quick, Stacy, this happened. We had on, the Paranormal Rangers, John Dover and Stan Milbrook. They were on History Channel. They were on Skin.
Oh, the dudes on Unsolved Mysteries?
Yeah, those two dudes, the Paranormal Rangers. Yes, they were on Unsolved Mysteries. That's right. The new edition. We had them on, and Stan was talking about that, about some paranormality with these coins just appearing and coins falling out. And I was like, wow, I mean, you wish you needed to go to the laundromat, which I was trying to be funny, but it actually is really, really scary when you can't figure out how the hell they're appearing. And Bia, I want to make sure you get in there, because we've got so many questions for Stacy that clearly we're already, got to do a part 2, but go ahead, Bia, if you got to get in there.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. Take some questions.
Okay. There is some in the chat here. And the other thing I wanted to say is that the way that you frame this discussion, we can frame it just as guys who are into paranormal, UFOs, Bigfoot. But if you look at like the criminal court system, for example, you can convict somebody with far less evidence than just anecdotal evidence. I saw something. So, we know the BFRO's database, that's tens of thousands. We know that Scott's Bigfoot mapping project is in the thousands. You guys have all talked to literally hundreds. Both of you gentlemen have talked to hundreds of witnesses. And some of them earlier, Stacy said, I trust this person. I trust if this person says that they saw something or they experienced something, I trust them. There's people that all of us have talked to that were like, I'm not too sure about that person. But the point I bring up is that with 12 jurors and 1 witness, you can convict somebody of murder. So it's 1 eyewitness that says, I saw it. And if it's a credible person, okay, you're going to jail. So I think the evidence is pretty good. It's just the nature of it is what we don't know, the evolution of this creature and where it came from. And, you answered the Nephilim question very deftly earlier. Nathan, the co-creator of CAB, says all the time, the frame, your personal framework, you're going to put things into your box. So if you're a religious person, then you may try to see Sasquatch through a biblical lens. Is it accurate? Maybe not. If you're somebody who doesn't like paranormal, doesn't believe in UFOs, you're going to say, oh, this is an ape, because that's your lens. That's where you come from. So I just want to put that out there for the audience writ large. Stacy, though, this still is really fascinating because you weren't the Conjuring house. You're like, yeah, let's go for it, man. Bring a 6-pack and all our meters. Let's bring our spirit box. Let's do the damn thing.
Yeah, man.
Count me out, man.
Yeah.
Deal.
Let me see if there's some questions, because I think there might have been.
Brother, we buried my buddy alive and stuck a damn microphone down in there in a coffin.
Oh my God.
And then we did a spirit box session with one guy in the well and him out there in the yard, buried in the yard. And then we were up in the library asking questions, and they got to where they were talking to each other.
Wow. Dude, what? Who's the
I'm
guy
telling
who volunteered to be
More
buried?
power to you, Stacy.
the owner said, he goes, this house ain't haunted, it's the ground. He goes, if you want real results, you need to bury me in the thing. I said, don't say that, because we'll do it. He goes, you build the coffin and I'll get in it. And we went out there and I had like 9 people on that set, and I'm like, bro, we're building a coffin, let's get it done, boys.
And
Pia, would you have shoved him out of the way to jump in that coffin for this investigation?
Hell no.
I mean, I would have definitely done it. I thought it was awesome.
Or Connor, one of you.
How deep did you bury him?
Well, see, that's the problem in Rhode Island. Is like you hit rock after rock after rock, but we probably got him 4.5 feet down in the ground.
That's a
Would you have
lot,
a
man.
tube going up for air?
Yeah, it was a piece of PVC that we had coming up out the top that we farted in once he was down in there.
He can't go anywhere.
He can't go nowhere, bro.
Stacy's like, bring me a burrito. Come on, I gotta get this. All right. Rose is wondering if you guys have any takes on Mothman, any knowledge about this happened in West Virginia. Mount Pleasant, West Virginia.
Point Pleasant.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's this old TNT bunkers out there, right? On the outside skirts of town. And you still have people there claim they see it today.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. There's still people that claim they see it. I have run-ins with Ingrid Cold. But we went out to the TNT area and we were going to camp for the night. So we had a little makeshift lean-to shelter we were sleeping under. And because I traveled up there, right? Let's straighten something out here. I traveled up there and I took my sleeping bag, but I didn't take a tent. I didn't take none of that because Bill's like, I got you, right? I get there, dude, and Bill has like a foam mattress that's for a twin bed, and it's cut in half. And I'm like, damn, cuz. And so we're sleeping in this stuff, and we got our thing set up. We look like transient people, okay? we'll say the nicest term. Like, we could have slapped a sign and a dog and we'd have been making money. We had to file taxes, right? But these people were watching the live stream, were buying us hotels because of that. Because Bill's like, all right, we're just gonna sleep here in the dirt. I'm like, damn, son,
where else to go?
I have money. I was like, I'll go get us a place, and then somebody donates $250, and it's like, all right, I'll go get a hotel. We'll go sleep in the hotel, but we were out there, and so we went in the bunkers, and I did this ritual, and then we come out and we're sleeping right in front of the bunker, and the door on the bunker probably weighs 300 pounds. Yeah, I don't know. It may weigh 500. That damn door is heavy, bro. Like, you will hurt yourself. That door slammed shut. The one I went in there on its own. Like, it was to the point where I thought somebody had to have done it. I got up looking for somebody.
Wow.
But hey, that was part of it. But we'd never seen nothing. And I almost would would wonder if Mothman is more of a demonic type thing, or maybe there was something else going on out there that was affecting our equipment like that, because the spirit box would like static out, like right, and when the lights were like powering down, and then they would and it would come back up and start spitting out words again, and then just like you know what I mean? It was like pulsing, some kind of like energy, it felt like, going on there. And we didn't see a Mothman, but I don't know. I can't say I had an experience with the Mothman, but I had an experience with something crazy at the TNT area.
Yeah, so one episode here, Stacy, is not going to be enough for you. There's just too much to cover. So we're going to have you back for a part 2. I just want to say to the audience, we did an episode on Cab a few years back with Chase Klutsky. She was I guess a K Street lobbyist up in Washington, and she's a prolific UFO investigator. And a Major League Baseball player invited her out to his property in like New Hampshire, I think it was. And she charged all her batteries, kind of like Stacy, brought all her equipment, got her table set up. Every single battery was dead. Sibylla Irwin, who wasn't able to join us tonight because of her daughter's birthday, also went on an investigation in Texas. Every single battery that they had was dead for their cameras. So this is something that, and it happened to Stacy. These are kind of things just keep recurring, and it's very, very strange. Do you have a preference, Stacy, that's more interesting to you between, like if you were going to say, okay, next month, somebody's paying for you to come out and do, and to research somewhere, whether it would be Bigfoot or paranormal investigation, is there something that you find more interesting?
I love Bigfoot. Right. So it's hard to beat Bigfoot. However, if it's like, yo, we're going to stay in Lizzie Borden's house, let's go stay in Lizzie Borden, which I did, and that was the only place I seen a ghost. I seen a ghost at Lizzie Borden's.
Oh my God, scary?
No, I didn't even know it was a ghost.
Oh, okay.
It was a complete calmest thing. So we were at Lizzie Borden's house I was working for the Dark Zone. They're like this media company that does paranormal pay-per-views. And so we set up like 40 cameras within that house, and they had activities going on for 3 days. And the day before, they had a mock trial of Lizzie Borden. So they had people in the clothing from the period there, right? And it was a mock trial. Maybe this is what the trial would have looked like, right?
Was Lizzie accused of being a witch, or what's the story?
No, so she basically hit her father in the face with a hatchet 42 times, and then went upstairs and hit her stepmother in the head another 30 times or something like that. It was basically the OJ trial back at the turn of the 19th century.
Okay.
Right. But now the house is like extremely haunted. But so they had that mock trial, and everything. And then the last day, it was the last guys coming in. It was like RIP, I think Rhode Island Paranormal or something like that. And this guy, Ken, great guy. And then, so it was Ken, and then there was Bill, and then this priest, right? This like demonologist priest guy. And they were kind of standing in a triangle talking about what they were going to do. Bill, it was me and Bill like filming for everything, and then our footage was being broadcast to Los Angeles, across the country, that they were then editing and shipping out real time, to the world, broadcasting it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty tight setup. But unless you're like the guy that has to get camera 17 back up and running at, when you're trying to sleep, because that camera's going down. We didn't sleep much. And I think this had something to do with it, right? So we didn't sleep much, and they're over there, like I said, getting their playing together, and there's a woman standing there behind them, and she's in the period clothing, and she's just looking up at them. She never acknowledges me. She looks like a woman, like just dressed in the 1800 style dress.
Like an actor or somebody.
Yeah. And so I'm setting my vest up. I'm getting all my rig because I got a vest. I got this huge shoulder rig. They start walking up, and I see we're in about 10 minutes worth of time before we go live. And I'm like, hey, guys, do y'all need to put a mic on that actress? And they said, who are you talking about? I said, lady was just standing there with you. They're like, Stacy, the doors are locked and nobody's coming in here. You know this. And then like so all the blood rushes out of my head. It felt like I got real nauseous. And then I'm going out and I'm throwing up in the parking lot. I got so sick right when he told me that. And it dawned on me. And then that's how the show starts. Susan Slaughter starts walking it in. Oh, hey, our cameraman just seen something, blah, blah, blah. It was like Paranormal 911 or something. You know what I mean? Just like Paranormal Live. It was strange. It was, but yeah, that was the first and only time I had seen a ghost, but I didn't know it was a ghost, which sent me home with the thought of how many people do you see in a day? Okay. How many of those people are alive?
Exactly. And you know, there's a story I heard from a researcher that both of you know, but I was sworn to secrecy on who this researcher is. But this researcher started getting some effects of like infrasound on an investigation with a group of others and said, we got to get out of here. I got to get away from here right now. I don't feel good. And I know you guys have friends that have had this happen. But when they got to the area where the parking lot was, where the car was, he saw what looked like a Native American woman dressed in period clothing standing in front of like a young girl, like kind of like arms draped over her the way like a mother would. And at the edge of the parking lot saw something that looked like a ghostly Sasquatch also looking at those two. And so that's the only one I've heard of. But this person is someone that I find to be very credible that would not make up something like that. He said as soon as they drove off and they got within, I don't know if it was like 5 minutes out of the parking area, I think one other person in the group saw it as well. And he started to feel better when he got out of that area. So I don't know what all that means, but I just thought I would share that with you. But all of us know who this person is. He just doesn't think he would have the credibility as a researcher if he told that story.
I've got a couple stories I won't tell. I told Mark Muncy one.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah, there's some things you can't say.
That's totally fair.
You know what I mean? If you try to stay respectable, like, and some of my friends know about it, you know what I mean? Like people who are not, but you can't, and I wouldn't be shocked if this is more common amongst researchers, is that there's some things that go on that are so wild they will not speak about because nobody will believe you. Nobody believe you, and it's gonna ruin any kind of reputation, or you know what I mean. You don't want to ruin what thoughts people have about you. You want them to take you seriously.
I've tried things I'll never tell anybody about, and just because I don't know what their response will be, but no, I wouldn't tell anybody else.
Well, when we're not on air, please not tell me, because I want to hear it, and I want just like I kept this person's secret, I would love to hear it. I'm not going to tell anybody here who this person is.
I will. It's
yeah,
and I didn't get any interaction that I was aware of that time, but I don't know. I just get weird hair sometimes, weird hair ideas, and think, oh, might as well try it. But
yeah, I mean,
I can only do some stuff when I'm either by myself camping or with somebody else who's asleep, doesn't know what's going on. So
I just think that's awesome. The amount of time that you're out there doing this, Jim, and that you're able to share your experiences with others in places that you feel you're having experience. And when you bring them, they're going to enjoy themselves. And what's the name of your endeavor again? It's Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole Adventures.
Rabbit Hole Adventures. I think you can find it on the Sasquatch Outpost website as well. And you can go and have an all-inclusive experience with Jim, where you won't have to bring the egg crate mattress that Stacy had to suffer through in West Virginia. I do want to highlight J Boogie Fever here. J Boogie Fever is he and his co-host Amy do great spaces, Twitter spaces, and he is really into paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, and one thing that is close to Stacy's heart, he loves conspiracy theories, and he and his co-host Amy are amazing together. You will see them on Calling All Beings next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday. You will see J Boogie Fever and Amy. So he is just a great guy and a very interesting guy and loves all. Right, exactly. So we'll see you then. I love to ask this question, Stacy. So if you don't mind telling us, if Jim were to take out his huge checkbook and pay for you to go research anywhere, do you have like a bucket list of places that you'd like to go and research for a week?
Well, I've been to most of the spots already, right? I don't know, man. It would really be cool to go to the Amazon. I know they don't have a lot of talk of creatures like Bigfoot down there, but there is some. I'd like to go to the Congo and look for that dinosaur, but probably Sumatra, because I think we could probably discover a orang pendek. I think that might actually be a catchable animal, right? So yeah, going there like Indonesia, that would be cool. Obviously looking for the Yeti. I'm not a fan of the cold though. Like we got to do above 60. Preferably like 98 heat and we're sweating balls. That's me, right?
Man, I think.
Stacy, we're going to get you all the cold weather gear, man. You're going to have Arc'teryx. You're going to look like Alex Honnold, going to Antarctica and shit.
But, if I would say if I could go Boggy Creek, you know what I mean? And do a big expedition in Arkansas. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah, down in
Texarkana,
Falk, Arkansas.
Arkansas, exactly. The reason I'm worried about him going to the Amazon, Stacy, is I don't want him to turn out like Percy Fawcett, Lost City of Z. Where he went up the raft and it's like, oh man, there's some bad hombres up there, and he never came back. So yeah, I don't want to see that happen.
I'm pretty good at making friends with people though, dude. I'm pretty good. Like I think we could get along. I pretty much get along with anybody, and I've been in some rooms with some wild ass people before. Like shit you wouldn't believe.
You're a great guy, and that's why we wanted to have you here, and you're just such a fun person, and your spirit of adventure, I think, should be and would be inspiring to everybody here. And for those who aren't familiar with the orang pendek, what Stacy's talking about, it's a smaller version of Bigfoot in Indonesia that we haven't caught up with, but Stacy believes that they are more catchable than we have had with the North American Sasquatch.
Which to me, it begs the question of whether that's what they were talking about in Vietnam as a rock ape, but the same animal.
I think that's very similar. You know what I mean? That whole kind of area, and they didn't describe any kind of. See, the problem with our North American Bigfoot reports is like the BFRO's database has been sanitized of anything that's may lend to it being something else. Right? That is very detrimental to what we're doing. I don't give a damn if it. I don't give a damn if it's got a mullet and it's wearing a Billy Joel t-shirt. I need to know about that. Right? But over there, they're not going to sanitize the reports, but even still, it's reported as more of a primate, Here, you just don't have that. You have various stuff going on in reports. So that's why I say it's probably more catchable. It's probably like a chimpanzee or something that's in small numbers.
What I appreciate the way you started this evening, Stacy, is that you said, I just follow the evidence where it takes me. Don't have a preconceived idea of what's going to happen. Don't have a preconceived idea of how they're going to behave towards me. I'm just going to see what happens. And you do that, over and over. And you kind of, I wouldn't say we ever become experts, but we at least become comfortable with some kinds of behavior that what we think is Sasquatch is manifesting towards us, where it doesn't scare us to death anymore. And, but it sure did at the beginning. But then I realized, okay, that this is what they do, although if they're banging on the front door like you had, I don't know what I would have done.
There's always things that end up making you nervous around it. Like, bro, I used to camp, like I told you, I used to camp on a tent. I would go out there for like 5 days at a time. And like, I would tell my dad or people where I was going to be, but that's just a general area. I was just walking around wherever I landed is where I camped. And I would never do that now.
Interesting.
Never do that now because of the paranormal side that gets into it that I wasn't experiencing a lot of back then.
Yeah. Interesting.
And
and then there's people that disappear every single day in this country in national parks and forests, and I don't know what happens to them. I don't pretend to know what happens to them.
Not like some people. I'm not going to say no names, but let's write a book and point a bunch of missing people reports towards Bigfoot.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
I tend to really I don't think it's Sasquatch that's responsible for those things, but I can't say for sure. But I think no researcher I know, and I know a lot of them like you do, has ever gone missing. And but boy, people do go missing. So
very strange ways.
Yeah. And I do think about that when I'm out camping, especially if I'm by myself. I think, okay, am I going to be the next person that doesn't come home and, your wife's calling saying, hey, can you go look for Jim? He was supposed to be back by now. And
yeah, I thought about that when I was out on that one with Flat Rock, and I was out looking for firewood, and I got away from everybody. But
where's DJ?
Yeah.
I thought he was over there. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Stacy, they're curious about little people.
I mean, like, do we watch them? We're watching them wrestle. What kind of little people are we talking about here?
And that reminds me, were you a professional wrestler or a high school collegiate wrestler? What?
I was like high school, and I could have went collegiate with it, but I was I didn't want to end up in polyester shorts being a gym coach.
All right, so in terms of little people, I think they mean the ones that are in the forest.
Yeah. So I've taken some reports on little people. I was in Dulce, New Mexico, and I spent about a week there, and they all have encounters with these little people all the time. One guy told me, I've got it on tape, I swear, he said, don't sleep with your butt to the tent, because the little people will come in and stick their finger in your butt and steal your cigarettes. I then made the joke of this guy. I was like, you sure it just ain't you? I was like, let's smell his fingers. And he got pissed, bro. He got mad. Dude, this guy was ready to kill me, right? Like, he got seriously so pissed. I was like, dude, I'm just joking. He's like, this is no joke. We're blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, okay, hold on. But you can't tell me something like that
and not get a joke out of it.
Yeah, good Lord, brother.
Oh man, I feel like Stacy needs to come out to Colorado and go out on your
Absolutely. Have you ever been out to Colorado, Stacy?
I stopped in Colorado at the airport one time and quickly escaped. But I am going to Colorado in September.
To do what?
Bigfoot. So
Where
there
to?
was, I can't tell you the name of the town because I don't know where it is, but it's not far from Denver Airport. I know it's a couple hours from there. I guess where we're going to fly into. I got this episode. I did an interview with a guy. They would go into this canyon hunting every year, and they all ended up seeing Bigfoots at different times and stuff like that. And so he's paying for my way to go out there and go back and retrieve a sleeping bag that was left covered in hair. And then I'm going to stay a few days on top of that.
Interesting. I've never heard that story. So
There was a story that come out that he told me about, and then I was able to look up. It was like a sheriff's wife or something had seen it like right after he had his encounter, like not far from there, you know. But we'll see. That's when I'm supposed to go. But the only time I really want to go to Colorado is when it's not cold. And the problem with that is Colorado stays cold.
Well,
not right now. Got a heat wave.
oh my God, this has been the warmest winter. So
Yeah,
two
it's
things.
been crazy.
When you come out here, if you'd like, Jim and I can come and meet up with you for a meal. So there's
Yeah,
that.
man.
Okay. Because we both live within driving distance of Denver Airport.
Well, maybe when we're done with the broadcast here, we can just stick around and chat for a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's get final thoughts. Starting with my homegirl, the legendary Boston Bia, my fitness coach.
Oh, he loves to mess with me. Anyways, thank you, Stacy. Thank you. Here. It's an ongoing joke. So thank you, Stacy, for coming on. Definitely found everything you said very interesting, and we can't wait to have you back and hear more. Jim, always good to see you. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Jim, final thoughts for Stacy before as we say goodbye to the audience and we can go backstage for a couple minutes and plan something out.
No, I just appreciate your perspective, Stacy, and I relate to a lot of what you talk about. I do not relate to haunted houses. You're not going to catch me in one. But yeah, I appreciate your perspective, and I would love to meet up maybe when you come over this way.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Absolutely.
And there's Tim, Bigfoot Influencers, Tim Halloran in the chat. Hello, Tim, my friend. And for somebody in the chat that said about things going home with you, I can tell you I interviewed a couple people from Skinwalker Ranch, but Jay Stratton, Dr. Colm Kelleher, who talked about Bigfoot at Skinwalker Ranch, which you don't hear on television, but he did talk about it in Age of Disclosure, all went home with something after the paranormal experiences and had these things follow them home. And even TJ Allard, the producer, executive producer of Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, went home and had issues. So yeah, there are, I think the thing, these ghosts are just afraid to go home with Stacy. That's the only thing. So
I wish that was the case, brother.
so he has had experiences. But
the thing I'll say to that, dude, is like, hey, there's this thing in Bigfooting called tagging, right? Where they tag you. I have Bigfoot stuff happen at my house where I live now. And I should not have Bigfoot stuff happening at my house. I mean, maybe it's possible, but I would say it'd be highly unlikely. You know, I wouldn't, you know.
I've taken friends out, Stacy, and when they returned home, they had Bigfoot slap in their house, and they're in the middle.
Yep.
They're in the middle of a residential urban area in Denver.
And never had it happen before.
Slapping their brick house. Yeah, until I told him some suggestions and it stopped. But he had cameras on the wall. He told his neighbor to point his cameras. Never got it. Never got anything. But boy, it scared his wife. Bam! I mean, hard on that brick wall. And had never happened before that, before he went out squatching. So he got tagged, I think is a great term, tagging.
Much of what is seen as impossible are there's just things that we just don't know yet.
Exactly.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Stacy. Again, as I've said, it was an honor to have you on. We hope that you'll come on with us again because this was just way too much fun. So, you know, hey, everybody, putting together for Stacy Brown Jr.
Yeah, I
And,
appreciate y'all having me on, dude. This damn 90 minutes flew by, bro.
It did, yeah. And we're gonna ask you to come on again. So, party people, thank you very much, everybody, mods, everyone in the chat. You guys were wonderful and made it such a great time. So, on behalf of Stacy Brown Jr., Jim Myers, and my co-host Boston Bia, peace out, one love, and we will see you down the road.